Hello everyone, you're watching Campus France Live. Thanks a lot to be there with us. Today we're going to talk about computer science and computer engineering. If you want to work as an IT engineer, you're at the right place because we're going to discover CESI Graduate School of Engineering, which offers you a 3-year master's degree in IT computer engineering. To know more about the school and the program, I'm very pleased to welcome Stéphanie Dumortier. Hi.
Hi, Guillaume.
You're head of international relations, and we're also with Carl Tanwo. Hello, Carl. You're a CESI student, and we're also with Shrey, Mishra. Hello, Shrey. Who we are going to hear in a few seconds. If you have questions about the program, about the school, don't hesitate to ask them on the chat section. But we're going to begin with you, Stéphanie. Can you introduce and present CESI Graduate School of Engineering in few words?
Yes. Hi, everyone. Thank you, Guillaume. So, CESI Graduate School of Engineering is a higher education institution. It has been founded in the late 50s by French companies, including Renault and Schneider Electric, that you might know. And the specificity of the School of Engineering is that it's located in 25 cities all over the French territory. We train future engineers in the fields of industrial engineering, civil engineering and construction, IT computer science, we will speak more about it, and as well as in embedded systems. And we also provide some executive postmaster degrees for students already holding a 5 years degree.
And what are the different programs that you offer to the students?
So we train future engineers right after high school, so they can step in what we can call undergraduate course. And we also provide a 3 years master's degree in industrial engineering, IT computer science, and civil engineering and embedded systems.
That's a lot of programs. Maybe we can talk with our student Carl. Carl, can you introduce yourself? Tell us where you're from and why you decided to choose CESI.
Yes. Hello, everybody. I'm Carl Tanwo. I'm coming from Cameroon, and I'm a student at CESI in computer engineering in the city of Toulouse. Then I chose the CESI because I was looking for a program that offered an interesting training in the field of computer engineering. I chose this program because it gave me the opportunity to deepen my training in the field of computer engineering, and I needed a training that combined theoretical knowledge and practical skills, which really prepared students for the professional world, and that's what I found at CESI. That's why I chose this school.
Stéphanie, how long do the different programs last?
The undergraduate programs last 2 years, and then the master's degree lasts 3 years.
And in which languages are they taught?
Most of them are taught in French, but the reason why we came today is because we want to promote the new English track. So we provide one master's degree in IT computer science, fully taught in English.
Okay, and to join this program, what is the required background?
Of course, you will need to come from higher education degree, at least 2 or 3 years, and with a background in IT computer science. There is some prerequisite in, especially in computer networks, in object-oriented programming, and in algorithmics in particular. So you need to have good knowledge of mathematics and physics as well.
And we're going to talk more about this program in a few minutes. But before that, I want to talk with you, Shrey. Can you introduce yourself? Tell us where you're from and what you studied at CESI.
Hi, my name is Shrey. I'm originally from India. I'm at the moment doing my research at ENS, where I'm a PhD student. So, yeah.
At CESI?
Yeah, I came to CESI around 2 years back, where I did my research internship, followed by a semester in software majors. So what attracted me to CESI was the research internship. It was very aligned to my research goals that I wanted to go forward with my PhD. So yeah, this is what intrigued me.
And we're going to talk more about that in a few minutes. But before that, Stephanie, can you tell us more about the program you are presenting today? So it's a program regarding computer science, computer engineering, fully taught in English. What is different? What do we study concretely inside?
So it's a 3 years program. It will include, academic content related, of course, to computer science. The students can choose between 2 electives. They can choose among software, engineering, or networks. And during the 3 years, of course, they will specialize and get more knowledge. But as well, they will perform internship, just as Shrey mentioned, and Carl as well. So they do perform internship during the 3rd year, what we call the 1st year and the 2nd year. And in the last year, they will have a last year end of study project. And they will have the opportunity as well to do initiation to research. And of course, all the academic content is really related to IT, computer science, information system, artificial intelligence, augmented reality, and so on.
And how the pedagogy organized? What is the balance between practical and theoretical courses?
Mm-hmm. The pedagogy is a very interesting aspect in our School of Engineering. Because we chose to implement active pedagogy. It means we don't have classical courses. The students learn through problem-based or project-based learning. They do teamwork, and within a full project or problem to solve, they will get all the knowledge. So they will learn to learn, actually, and it's a student-centered pedagogy. And it's really, it has amazing results in terms of employability afterwards, because our students know how to lead a project, they know how to work in team, and they know how to organize themselves and to get new knowledge according to the evolution of the technology.
Carl, can you describe a little bit the courses that you're following? What do you study concretely at CESI?
Yes, at CESI, I'm studying computer engineering and particularly software engineering. So we are supposed to learn how to produce software solutions. Yes, to discuss with the enterprises, know what the enterprises need, and produce a software solution which is supposed to solve the problem noticed before while discussing with the enterprise. Thank you.
Concretely, what are the different courses? You have, I imagine, some C++ classes. What do you have else, Carl?
Here we had a system administration. There we had to learn how to manage networks. And in November, we studied C#, which is a programming language. And it permits us to know how to produce, when I was, as I was saying, software solutions. C# is a language, programming language, as we can say, developed particularly with Microsoft. That is what I learned since I arrived.
Stephanie, the idea of this program is both to have maybe a technical, a practical point of view, and a big picture with other classes. How does it work?
Mm-hmm. In fact, the aim is to have the technical knowledge, as you said, but the CESI IT engineer is also able to communicate. He's also a project manager, because we give a focus as well on some humanities content. So they will learn a lot about regulation, economics, ethics, and also management and communication, because we believe that they need to be able to to do teamwork. They need to have these skills as well.
Shrey, when you were a student, I imagine you had to do a lot of projects, a lot of student projects. What was your favorite project related to the classes that you had to do at CESI? What was your favorite student project?
So like Stephanie pointed, we were working in a group. So the project that we were doing was we were trying to build a smart city model. So I was designing the AI algorithm that can identify from faces. It can take the face, the image of a person, and it can tell at what time the person was present and where, if he was spotted anywhere else in the camera. So this was something we were working on. It was like a prototype.
That's an interesting project. In the pedagogy, it's important to have a lot of projects, maybe related to the professional world. Stephanie?
Actually, the projects we offer are designed by our pedagogical team, but some of them also come from industry, as you say. So it's really it's a sample of specifically designed project and industry-based project. But all of them have skills and aim at learning outcomes which are very expected by the profession and really useful to become an IT engineer.
For instance, Carl, what project are you working on in this period at your classes?
I'm working on is the system programming project, and what I can say is that we have to produce a solution, a software solution, which can permit the users to perform backup jobs, meaning that they can choose a file or a set of files to save to a specific storage medium. That's their principle. Now, as I said, we have to learn how to manage all stages of the production of a software solution, from design to implementation and then to integration.
And is it the first time you have to do such a big project with all the different steps regarding design, regarding conception, regarding UX? It's the first time for you?
It's not really the first time, but here at CESI, the particular thing I can notice is that I learned a lot of new things about producing a software solution, and then how to manage all what I've learned in school, how to manage all that skills to produce a real software solution that can be used maybe later by the customer, as I can say, if I can say like that.
Okay, thanks a lot. If you're joining us, you're watching Campus France Live. Thanks a lot to be there with us. We're talking today about CESI Graduate School of Engineering, and more particularly about the IT computer engineering program. So if you're interested in this field, stay with us and don't hesitate to ask all your questions in the chat section. We're now going to talk about the admission. You were just telling us that for the background, you need to have a little bit of computer science in your background, in your university background.
Yes, absolutely. It's mandatory. You need some prerequisites in this topic, and we enroll students after 2 or 3 years higher education diploma, which has to be in the scientific field or technological field, plus the prerequisites that I mentioned before.
And what are the different steps to apply to one of the programs?
To apply? Usually students go through Études en France, but you know that the platform now is closed. You can't create a new application, but you can apply through Campus France all year long, or from our website. There's an application form as well, or you can contact the campus that you aim at straight directly.
And what is the calendar for the application procedure?
Usually we recommend to start the application around October or November, the year before you want to start with us. And if you're currently in your 2nd or 3rd year of higher education, you still can apply until, let's say, April or May, but you need to hurry up, because there is, of course, we will analyze your application form, analyze all your background and what you did so far. But there will be an interview as well with our team, so we want to prepare your arrival and to have much time before you come.
Maybe, Carl, you can tell us a little bit about the interview. How did it go for you? What were the different questions that you were asked about?
During the interview, I was not asked a lot of questions. First of all, where I was, the school, to identify the school I was coming from. Then why I wanted to study in France, and particularly why I wanted to study in CESI. is generally the questions they ask. And finally, what is your project, your professional, your career project, what you want to do when you will obtain the degree you are looking for.
Stephanie, what are you looking for in the student application forms? You want students who have a strong view about what they want to do after the diploma, or you want students that have a strong knowledge in computer science? What is important for you?
I think there must be a balance between the two profiles that you describe. We are very interested in passionate students. Students who really have projects related to IT computer science. Some of them don't have a specific idea of what they want to do afterwards, but they have this passion for software or for artificial intelligence. And we believe that during the 3 years, they will get a better idea of what they want to do. And actually, we spend a lot of time counseling and guiding them in this in finding their career afterwards. So even if you don't know exactly what you want to do now, that's not a problem, because we will help you to build your career goal. The most important is to know that you're interested in that topic and that you want to improve and to get a very strong knowledge in that topic.
What would be your advice, Shrey, in order to have a successful admission? What would you say to the people watching us today?
So my first advice would be to have something that you really want to do. For example, in computer science, you should have a little bit of idea what you want to go ahead, whether you want to go for cybersecurity path, you want to go for network engineer. So for example, for me, it was a choice between software majors or I should go for the networking related part. So I chose software in CESI. So a little bit of that information would be helpful, but even if you don't have, there are people to counsel you. Plus, if you know, for international students, if they know a little bit of French, it's a plus. But even if they don't, I think with the buddy program, they should be able to pick up French. So I did pick up some French. So these are like my two suggestions for international students mainly.
And Stephanie, we know that once accepted, there is a lot of administrative procedures, steps in order to go to France. How do you help a student with the different steps to come to France?
Once you know that you're admitted at the school, our team will be dedicated to your arrival. We will help you preparing all the steps, starting with the visa, of course, but as well with the accommodation, because we know it's an issue. As I said, we are multi-campus, so we have multi-site localization. So depending on the campus that you will be accepted at, we have agreements sometimes with student dorms or some specific accommodation service. But we will help you in all the steps before you come, at your arrival as well, because we know that you still have a lot to do once you arrive for social insurance and so on. So you will be well guided. You will, of course, receive a welcome guide and all the support that you will need for each step of your preparation.
We're now going to talk about the student life. How is it like to study at CESI? What is the life on the different campus? Maybe we can begin with you, Carl. Can you describe your student life? Where do you live? How is it for you? How is it to be a student at CESI?
First of all, it's interesting because talking about the degree, we learn a lot of things that will permit us to be more, let me say, performant when we will obtain the degree. Then after talking about our school, I can say that the life is so. The students are happy to be there because the life is so interesting. It's so interesting. There are a lot of activities that students can perform together, thinking about sports, debate, and so on and so forth. So I can say it's very interesting for a student to be at CESI, talking about what we learn and what we can do with other students.
In which city do you live?
In Toulouse, France, in the south of the country, Toulouse.
And so how is Toulouse? Can you describe a little bit the city? How is it?
Toulouse is so beautiful. Beautiful, and let me say During the winter, it's let me say less cold than the north of the country, so it's easy for an international student to live when he arrives. That's what I can say. First of all, talking about the climate, and then people are available to guide you when you have a problem.
That's
So
important, Stephanie, for you to have a real student spirit in the school, to let them have activities to get to know each other.
Mhm. Yes, of course. We know what's a student life, and we know the price we need to give to it. And actually, in the pedagogy, I told you that it's project every week, so they are busy every day. But the Thursday afternoon is free, so that they can have their student life, and they can experience sport or be involved in any activity, organization, and so on. So yes, we give a prize to the student life. You can see on the picture that we show. Many students, of course, take part into challenges related to technology, sometimes software. We also participate to Cisco challenges, to any kind of challenges. And we also have many students involved in organization, working with specific publics. So yeah, they have a rich life.
Regarding the accommodation, how does it work? How do you help them to find an accommodation?
It will depend on the campus, actually. Some campuses are lucky to have an agreement with a local accommodation. It could be a student dorm or a residency. In some other cities, such as Paris, it's very complicated to find an accommodation. We can't hide it. But we help. We share some advertisement that we have for sharing apartments or any student residency. Yeah, we know it's difficult, but in many campuses we have facilities to help for the accommodation.
Maybe Shrey, you can go back a little bit in the past and remember when you decided to come to France to study. Did you have at this moment some fears before joining the school, and how did it finally go for you?
Of course, I had some fears. My biggest fear was I did not speak any bit of French other than bonjour. I did not know anything in French. So I was a little bit worried of how well, and this was the first time I was traveling far from my country. So I was really scared. I did not know what to do, because the things back at home are very different from what it is in France. But thankfully, there were my student buddies and the people at CESI. They helped me from getting my insurance to everything. So they guided me a lot, and which was really helpful, because if they would not have been there, I would not been able to manage my with my broken French. I don't think I would be able to to get these basic things done. So this was my first fear. The second fear was, what would I do after finishing my program. So by the end of my program, I already got a little bit of idea what I wanted to do, or what I wanted to go ahead. Actually, this was the first research internship that I had, and this oriented me towards my future plan of getting a PhD. So yeah, this was a few things that I was really scared for joining CESI.
We're now going to watch a little video of a student. She's called Noor, and she's going to talk about her experience at CESI.
Hi, my name is Noor. I'm from Tunisia. I was fortunate enough to continue my last semester of my engineering course here at CESI. It was a very good experience. I had the opportunity to learn by solving problems. This allowed me to learn how to observe carefully, how to analyze, how to find solutions by myself, and how to execute applications to fully understand the concept. And now I'm more resilient, and I think I see things from another perspective. Throughout this adventure, I had two buddies who were always by my side, who helped me out to integrate, to learn more about French culture. And also thanks to them, now I have more new friends. And for now, I did find an internship in France. So I think it's the beginning of a new adventure.
You're still watching Campus France Live. Thanks a lot to be there with us. Today we're talking about CESI Engineering School, and we're now going to talk about the link with the professional world. How is it to be a student and a future professional at CESI? First of all, a question for you, Stephanie. We were just listening to Noor. She was talking about internship. An internship, how does it work in the IT engineering program for the internships?
The students will have 3 internship periods during their master's degree in IT computer science. The first one is in the 3rd year. It's more like a technician internship. It's at least 3 months. Then in the 4th year, they will go either to a company for an internship of 4 months, or they can go to a research laboratory as well. And in the 5th year, it's what we call the final project, the end of study project, which is very important for engineers, and it lasts 6 months. So these 3 internships are great opportunities for the students to decide in which kind of environment they want to work. Is it a big company? Is it a startup or whatever? And in which field they want as well to specialize and then to go for their career.
Carl, did you already have the opportunity to do an internship, or are you looking for one internship?
What I can say, my case is a bit particular.
Okay.
Because when I arrived, my classmates had already attended some of their internships. So I was allowed to attend courses during the first semester. And then now in the January month, I am attending an internship but in the school laboratory.
Related to the research?
For a bit, yeah.
In which other kind of companies can they do the internship? Because we also have the case with Shrey, who was also in the research field. But is it possible to go to the industry to join startups, for instance?
Yeah, actually, our 2 students who testimony today are a good example for students going to research laboratories. But the majority of the students perform the internship in a company. And it can be a large one, of course, major companies such as Cisco or Ubisoft or whatever. But sometimes as well, they go to startup, or we even have students founding their own company. So we have a lot of young entrepreneurs, which is something that we enhance as well. We help them in this tendency. So everything is possible, and even they can perform the internship abroad. Actually, we also promote this possibility. So everything is open as long as it's related to IT, but it could be in any kind of environment.
And how do you help them to find these opportunities? I imagine that with, you said, more than 50 years of, I don't remember, of life for the school, you have a strong links with the different companies and the professional world.
Absolutely. We have a very good network of partner companies I didn't mention, but we work a lot with companies. But we also believe that it's part of the student training to find by himself the internship. So actually, we don't really give them the internship, right in the hands. We want them to find by themselves. We give tips, of course. We give some contacts and some tips. We also provide some offers because we have some partner companies which really want us to pre-select some students. But the majority of the students find by themselves, because we know that in IT computer science, it's very, very easy to find an internship. Even if it's not called an internship abroad, they can easily find, a 3 or 4 months experience in a company.
Maybe, Carl, you can describe a little bit. You just told us that you're doing an internship in a laboratory. What are your exact missions? What do you do concretely?
Yeah, it's not really a research topic. I am asked to perform a web solution, and it has to be similar to Google Forms, so that to produce a lot of questions, and students must answer to those questions, and the result must be used to evaluate some of their soft skills. That is the topic in general.
Okay,
So
so
a
it's
web solution that can permit to evaluate students' soft skills.
it's a mix between computer science and a little bit of sociology and humanities, because regarding soft skills, you have to have a little knowledge about that.
Yeah, yeah, a bit.
And for you, Shrey, what was the internship that you had the opportunity to do when you were a student?
So for me, I was trying to build an algorithm that can find anomalies, basically fraudulent activities that happen. So it could be the bank's statement. So given a data set, you can try to find what is anomaly within that. So I was trying to build an algorithm that can automatically look into and find those anomalies which can be problematic.
Different and really interesting topics. So we just moved to talk about the internship. Then there is the arrival on the job market. How does it go for you, student? What are the different job opportunity after the program?
They can do a lot of different professions actually in this domain. It could be project manager, it could be UX designer, it could be web architect. It can be so many things related to the wide range of computer science domain, and it could be research and development as well, since they have this experience in research as well. So actually, almost everything is open. And since I said that our students have a very good high skills in management, many of them actually work as project management or can deal with teams and projects.
Carl, do you already know what you want to do after the program?
Yeah, as I said, I'm in my 4th year, and during the 5th year, the last year, we are supposed to choose a particular field in which we want to perform. So, in my case, I am interested in data science.
Okay. Can you describe a little bit what data science is for our viewers and what interested you in data science?
The principle of data science is collecting a large quantity of data coming from different sources, maybe databases of an enterprise, or maybe firms answered by customers, a lot of data, and use it to manage the customer relationship. We often talk about CRM, customer relationship management. So use the data produced by the customers to offer a better produce or a better solution which will satisfy these customers.
And it's a really strong topic with a lot of opportunities after graduation. For you, Shrey, you decided to continue with a PhD after you graduated. What do you want to do? What is the next step for you?
Okay. I'm not sure at the moment. One possible outcome could be to go for a scientist position or a postdoc position. The second possible outcome that I can go forward is being a research scientist in a private company like Google, Microsoft, Apple, Facebook. But I'm not sure at the moment where I want to go. So I would want to explore myself a little bit more into research. And then probably if things work out for me, if I like research, I'll probably stick to research. And if I want to have a little bit of a different experience, I can probably go to its industry as well. But I'm not sure at the moment.
And you still have time to discover and to find yourself.
Yeah,
Stephanie,
of course.
A question that we have a lot from the international students. Is it possible to stay in France after graduation?
Of course, usually once you graduate, you can find a job, of course, in France. The IT market is really open and demanding a lot of candidates. Actually, many of our students get offer positions before they graduate. So it is possible to carry on, to stay in France to work, or as Shrey, to carry on your studies if you want to get a PhD experience. So no problem.
No problem to stay here. We're now at the end of the live, but before leaving us, we're going to conclude with this quick question for the three of you. What would be your advice for the students planning to come to France? Let's begin with you, Carl. What would be your advice for the people watching us today and wanting to come to France?
First of all, if you want to discover a lot of things, maybe in the way of learning, in the way of culture, the France is the place to be. And then talking about CESI particularly, the school is very interesting in the way of learning. And then talking about my case, I was really accepted by the administration, the teachers, and the classmates. So you don't have to be afraid, but just be, how can I say it? Have the just know what you want, and then do what is necessary to get what you want in terms of learning, in terms of relations, and it would be.
That's a good advice to discover and to not hesitate to come. Shrey, what would be your advice for the people watching us today and wanting to come to study to France?
So my first advice would be to learn French as quickly as possible if you don't know French. My second advice would be to reach out to the professors if you are lacking on something, because they're really helpful. So the more you go and approach them, the more easy for you. It would be more easy for you to catch up with the concepts that you're learning. My third advice would be to not just entirely focus on studies, as CESI organizes a lot of activities like hiking. You can go out and play music, and you should also try to participate in these activities. This will help you relax your stress because of studies. So this will be really helpful. These will be my three advices to international students.
And you, Stephanie, what would be your advice for the people watching us today?
I would follow the recommendation of Carl. Follow your project. Stick to your project. And I would also agree with Shrey. Even though the program will be taught in English, it's much better to start with a bit of French before you come. That's why we recommend you to do a summer course in French language, just to be sure that you get the level A2 before you come, so that in your everyday life, you will, of course, integrate, but as well, to graduate, you will need to have B2 at the end. So it's better not to wait until you start the studies to learn French. Recommendation would be start with French language as soon as you can, but during the summer specifically, and get ready for a great adventure, because indeed the pedagogy is a really interesting adventure. It's not something that all the schools of engineering provide. It's a really unique experience. There is no competition between the students. You will really have a social life, social integration, and get ready for this adventure.
That's a really good way to conclude this live. If you want a new adventure, if you live, don't hesitate to join CESI. Thanks a lot, Stephanie, Carl, and Shrey, for having been with us today.
Thank you, Guillaume. Thanks for the students.
And thanks to you for having watched us. If you still have questions, don't hesitate to visit the website of CESI. And before ending this live, we are going to watch a little trailer to know more about CESI. See you soon on Campus France Live.
L'époque change. Il faut se réinventer sans cesse, relever de nouveaux défis et imaginer les prochains. Co-construire l'avenir, apprendre, trouver sa voie, partager, oser, expérimenter, se lancer. Choisir son avenir, rejoindre CESI.